Hi everyone, and welcome to another class on my YouTube channel, Tom Yoga Om. This class is a class to kind of pick you up when you're feeling a little bit down or a little bit sad, or maybe you just haven't felt like your life is flowing. So what we're going to do is a class to get our system flowing and just tune into the sensations that are going on in our body. And hopefully by bringing about more of a flow in the physical self, we can get the mind working forward, processing that sense of maybe stagnation in the mental space. So let's get to it. For today's class, we are going to start in a seated position. I like to come into Sukasana, which is just cross-legged, also known as square pose. But for some of you, if you find you've got knee problems or hip problems, this can kind of hurt. So if that's the case for you, you could choose to sit up onto a brick or onto a cushion. And just take a moment to get yourselves comfortable. Maybe place your hands onto your legs to start with. And just to kind of work out any kinks, we're just going to start by rolling our shoulders and making sure that that space is nice and loosened up. Circle the other way. And to stretch into the space around the hips, take a big breath into your belly and into your chest. And as you exhale, just drop your torso down to one side and circle up the other side and around again. And what you're looking for is just to create a little bit of movement in the space just above your pelvis, so that when we sit up in a moment, you don't feel like any muscles that you engage to keep you there feel locked in. And come back to a neutral position. And from here, we're going to take a mudra. Mudras are handholds in yoga, and they're kind of like physical affirmations or embodiments to kind of help us to get into a certain mind space. There's a mudra that we can take to help us feel a little grounded, and you take it by placing both hands on top of one another and down into your lap and connect the thumbs. And once you make it here, try to soften your gaze or close your eyes and just start to breathe. And just notice how your body is feeling as you sit in this position. Notice what it feels like to sit upright, and if you feel like you're straining or if it feels easy. And just keep your breath rolling in and out, and start to deepen your inhale so that your belly inflates outwards as you breathe in. Let the breath travel up into your chest. And as you exhale, just feel your belly soften, your chest soften, and soften into the space around the shoulders too. Keep the breath rolling in and out. And as you breathe here, notice the flow of your inhale as it travels down in through your nostrils into your throat. And as it fills up your chest and your belly. And feel it flow all the way out again, so feeling a softening in the belly, relaxation in the chest, and that airflow out of the throat and the nostrils. And you might like to imagine a sense of awareness kind of passing from the top of your head all the way down your whole body to your feet into the space underneath you. And you're doing a bit of a body scan here. Imagine that there's like a machine scanning your body, and it's picking up on any tension or tightness or any place you feel sore or like you're holding or gripping onto. Just become aware of it, and as you breathe in, with a gentle awareness, take your attention to those spaces in your body. And as you exhale, can you feel them soften and relax a little bit? Just feel that tension ease off, even just a little bit. Keeping your self tuned inwards, notice where your mind is at. And notice what emotions and feelings are coming up for you today and right now. And sometimes, because it's a little bit challenging to be with those emotions or feelings, they can feel like they're a little bit too much. And a technique you can use to kind of simplify them, to take away their intensity, is to give them a physical description. So if you're feeling any kind of sensation or emotion, or having a thought that doesn't maybe take you to a good space, just notice exactly where that thought is coming from. Be a little bit curious as to its origin. Can you dive deeper into where it's coming from in your body? So give it a physical location. Where does that thought, where does that feeling start? And once you find that space where that feeling starts, instead of trying to fight it or make it go away or even relax it like we did with our physical body, can you just simply let it be and keep describing it? So give it a shape, give it a texture, give it a size, give it a temperature. What shape is that feeling? What shape is that space where that feeling is manifesting from? How big is it? What texture is it? Is it rough or smooth? And does it have a temperature? And I want you to really try to embody the visualization of that shape, and try not to judge yourself for feeling the way that you're feeling, for experiencing what you're experiencing. Just try to allow it to be there and to give it some space. Let it be. Truly let it be the way that it is. And just trust right now that in this process of focusing in on it, in this process of allowing that sensation to be, and by using the technique to describe it, to give it a shape, a form, to give it features, that in a way you're giving your mind a little bit more empowerment to digest what is going on. And to find peace with it. We're just going to take 5 more deep breaths in and out. Take your attention back to your body. Keep your awareness inwards. And just keep breathing. And notice how your mind has shifted to feeling and thinking in a different way. How has it changed? For these last few breaths, can you try to just focus in on your body for a little bit longer? Tune in a little bit deeper. And trust that we're going to work through that feeling to help you feel a little bit better, a little bit more relaxed. If you'd like, you can pause the video and just keep breathing in this way. Or if you're ready to, you can start to wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, and start to wake your body up and keep your awareness tuned inwards. And then I'd like you to take your arms and lift your arms up and just take your hands out in front of you. And on a big breath in, I want you to open your palms up and stretch your hands out. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, just squeeze the muscles of your hands, squeeze them into fists. And release after your exhale. We're going to do one more like this. I want you to spread out as you breathe your hands open. And as you exhale, clench them into fists. We're going to do one more. This time we're going to open our jaw up. We're going to open our mouth up. Breathing in through the nostrils still. And as you exhale, just make your face as small as possible. I know it looks silly, but it helps, trust me. So squeeze it up into the smallest shape possible. Squeeze your fists. And release. You can open your eyes up if they're closed. And from here, let's just keep that movement and that flow coming into the body. This is how we move that sensation through, how we process it. So when you're ready, take your hands beside you and take a big breath in, sweep your arms up. Just notice how those arms are feeling. Exhale, float your hands down. Let's take two more like that. Breathing in, lifting up. And breathing out, floating down. And again. And exhale. Good, then take your hands behind you, squeeze your hands back behind you, squeeze your shoulders together, lift your belly and your chest up. And exhale, draw your chin to your chest. And inhale, lift your chin up, squeeze your shoulders together, reach your arms down, breathing in. And exhale, draw your chin to your chest. And last one, full breath in. And exhale out. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, sweep our arms up. And as you exhale, interlace your fingers, press your palms up. As you inhale, draw your elbows wide, lift your chest up, draw your elbows away from each other. As you exhale, press up. One more. And exhale, press up. Good. Can you draw your shoulders down your back so they're not all up in your ears, but they've just dropped down. Bring your left hand onto the floor, reach your right arm up, and keep that right sitting bone grounded as you extend over to your left side. Breathe into the right side of your belly, right side of your chest. And exhale, extend a little further. One more breath here. And exhale. Good, next breath in, we're going to sweep our right arm out in front of us. Take a full breath in. Reach it forward. And exhale to lift it all the way up and over. And inhale, extend it forward, reach it forward, breathing in. Sweeping out in front. And exhaling to lift it up, hand over. And one more like that. So we're breathing out, reaching out in front. And exhaling to extend it over. Good, press into your bottom hand, sweep both arms up. Find some length here before bringing your right hand down, extending over. And ground down into that left sitting bone. Reach your your left arm up. Tongue twisters, and exhale, extend your left arm over. Take a big breath into your belly, a big breath into your chest. And exhale, extend. And on your next breath in, you're trying to separate your shoulder away from your body. So you're reaching out through the hand to do that. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. And then exhaling, extending over to that right side. And inhale, reach across. Breathing in, keep the distance from the shoulder and the chest, and extend over. And one more. And extend over. Good. Then press both hands up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to float our hands down nice and slow. Just notice how those shoulders feel. They should feel like they're flowing. So that's our arms moving now. Let's move that flow into the body now. So come down onto your hands and your knees into a tabletop position and start by dropping that belly down, bending the elbows, reaching the chest between the shoulders, and exhale to press the floor away from you. 4 more. Breathing in, bend the elbows, open your belly and your chest up. And as you exhale, straighten those arms, press the floor away, kick down into your feet. 3 more. We all know, or most of us know, cat-cow pretty intimately, pretty well. I encourage you to just think about how you can take your breath deeper into the pose, how you can integrate it into your movement a little bit more. And just explore your body's movement as you breathe. And see if you can create a shape that feels good for you. If that's confusing for you, just try to find a stretch that feels really good. And then come back to a neutral position. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, press down into your hands. Lift your back up to the ceiling. So lifting that space between the shoulders upwards. Hold your back there. Take another big breath in. As you exhale, look over your right shoulder towards your left foot. Keep pressing into your hands, and the aim here is to lift the back up to the ceiling. Breathing in, come back to center. Exhale, looking over towards that left foot. Keep flowing like this. So when you come back to center, lift your back up, breathing in. And exhale, look over to the right foot. 1 more. Can you feel how your spine is opening up? And how the movement is coming into the body? Good. Let's inhale back to center. And from here, we're going to drop our hips down towards our heels. So we're slowly bringing more movement into the pose. I just need to adjust my phone, which is in my pocket, which is recording this class, which is making me sound clear. Come down onto your hands, your knees and your feet, and just bring your hips back towards your heels. Let's keep this movement going. So as you breathe in, we're going to glide forward like a glider into a cow position. So I want you to drop your belly nice and low, keep your elbows bent. It's almost like if you've ever seen a cat kind of creep forward to catch its prey, it kind of glides down nice and slow. It gets into position and then it springs up into a cow position, breathing in. And as you exhale, can you round your back to the ceiling and drop your hips back towards your heels? Good, keep flowing like that. So inhaling, gliding forward like a cat, coming into a cow. And exhale to round your back to the ceiling and then drop your hips back towards your heels. Keep going, breathing in. And breathing out. Good. 2 more. Inhaling. And exhaling, kind of pressing your lower back as far back behind you as you can so you feel that stretch in your lower back. Last one. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. Next breath in, we're going to glide our body over to the left side of our mat. So we're sweeping it across, drawing a U shape with our torso and bringing our torso over the top of our left hand. As you exhale, think of the movement as being just as important on the exhale as you sweep your body back to the left side and circle your hips back and around onto your heels. And then you inhale over that right side, lifting up over the right hand. And exhale to circle back and press down towards your heels. You'd keep flowing like that. So we're drawing like a U shape with the body. And just know that the more you create that U shape in your hips and in your torso, the deeper you're going to feel the stretch. So the more you exaggerate the movement, the deeper and the better it's going to feel. Just find your breath again. And can you notice the opening that's happening in your hips here? Good. Let's do one more. So dropping back to the hips wherever you're at and inhaling up to the other side. And exhale back to a neutral position. Good, then press into your feet. And from here, we're going to tuck the toes under and come back into a plank pose. From this plank pose, I want you to bend your knees left to right. And again, start to lift your back up to the ceiling. So you're stretching a lot into your hamstrings. And you're noticing how they feel. And really start to draw some bigger and more kind of exaggerated steps with your legs. Kind of curling the toes, curling the feet. I know it sounds and maybe feels and looks a little bit silly, but I want you to get a full range of motion into your legs before we stretch them completely. So you're kind of taking this time to check in with those hamstrings, to lengthen them, and to find that strength in the arms. That helps us do so much in our yoga poses, in our bodies and in our lives. Take one more big breath in, and as you exhale, press into your hands, come back to your down dog. Good. Keep bending those knees left to right. Your hips and your hamstrings should feel pretty good because we've opened up the lower back, we've opened up the hips. So they should feel relatively open, even though we haven't dedicated a lot of time to opening up the backs of the legs. Notice how they feel. And next, to open up the backs of the legs, take a big breath in, lift your hips and your heels up off the floor. And as you exhale, ground your heels down. Press into your hands. 2 more, breathing in. And breathing out, pressing back. And breathing in. And breathing out, pressing back. And let's just do one more, breathing in. And as you breathe out, sigh out of your mouth. Good. From here, inhale, roll yourself forward onto your hands into a plank pose. Drop your knees to the floor and bend your elbows inwards to lower your torso down onto the floor. So what I mean by that is draw your elbows in towards your body as you bring yourself down onto your belly, onto your chest. Good. Hands underneath the shoulders. Take a big breath in, lift your chest up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Draw your shoulders away from your neck. Exhale to roll your spine down. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to roll down. And last one, full breath in. And a full breath out. Good, we're almost there. Tuck your toes under, power up into a plank. And as you exhale, come back to your down dog. Next breath in, lift your left leg up and bend your knee, bringing the left foot over towards the right side of your body. Just take another big breath in, lift your left knee up a little higher. Straighten your right leg if you can. Hold here. Take one more full breath in and out. And then breathe it in. And exhale, step your foot forward to the top of the mat. Drop your back knee to the floor. The last little stretch we haven't done is into the thighs, and that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to inhale, send the hips back, straighten that left leg, and as you exhale, send the hips forward and sink your hips down. Let's do one more like that. Breathing in, sending the hips back, and exhale, sinking those hips down. Good. Take another big breath in here. Exhale to relax into the hips, and then I want you to hold this position. Tune back into your mind, and just take a big breath into your belly, a big breath into your chest. Imagine that you're sending a flow of energy back down to the hips and all the way up again. Good. Next breath in. We're going to plant our hands down onto the floor. I'm going to step back into a plank, take a big breath in, and have a go at lowering down onto your belly all the way to the floor. Use your knees if you need to. As you inhale, this time we're going to lift up. We're going to lift our chest up into a cobra. And as you exhale, I just want you to pulse your torso down a little bit. So you're just lowering down a little. Good. As you inhale, think of reaching your chest forward, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And exhale, pulsing down. Takes a little bit more strength in the arms to do this. Let's do it again. Inhale, lifting your chest up, reaching it forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And exhale, lower down. Good. Tuck your toes under. Power up into a plank or a tabletop. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees left to right. Take a big breath in, lift your hips and your heels up off the floor. And exhale, ground them down. Lift your right leg up, take a big breath in. Bend your right leg, bring your right foot over to the left side of your body. Try to straighten your left leg. And just take 2 deep breaths in and out here. Powering through those hands. Stretching through that right hip. Lifting the right knee up a little higher if you can. And then taking one more big breath in. And exhale to step your right foot to the top of the mat. Drop your back knee to the floor. Inhale to send your hips back. Exhale to send your hips forward and sink them down. And again. And exhale. And one more. And exhale. Good, just hold here. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the chest, breathe into that left hip. Sink it down as you exhale. And hold here. Send one breath of flow energy down to the belly, into the chest. Just a sense of opening, a sense of spaciousness. Good, and when you're ready, tuck your back toes under. Last few poses here. We're going to turn our body to the left, coming into a wide-legged stance. And I want you to press into the edges of your feet. So really kind of nail those down into the floor. And what this has the effect of doing is lifting the arches of your feet. So opening the space on the insides of your feet. So keep pressing down to the edges of your feet. Inhale up into a halfway lift. And as you exhale, bend your elbows inwards and fold yourself down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, folding down. And one more. And exhale. Good, hold here. If you want, you can take a hold of your elbows. Try and bring the weight evenly into the heels and into the toes on both of your feet, into both of your legs. Take one more full breath in and out. And then drop your hands to the floor. Inhale up into your halfway lift. And from here, we're going to draw the heels inwards, like so. Squeak of the mat. Take one hand onto your left knee, one hand onto your right knee, and lift yourself up. Cool. And from here, we're going to take a breath into the belly, into the chest. And as you exhale, I want you to sink your hips down and just find a deeper stretch in the hips. You're doing great. Take another breath here. And exhale, sink those hips. And one more. Good. On your next breath in, can you power down into your arms so that you're lifting your head out and through your shoulders? So you're kind of finding a bit of length there. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, away from your neck, so don't let your shoulders sink up again. And just take a breath into your belly and into your chest. As you exhale, see if you can sink the hips a little deeper. And then on your next breath in, breathe in again. And on your exhale, we're going to drop the right shoulder down, keeping that lift though, and look over our left shoulder. And then inhale back to center. And exhale, drop your left shoulder down, look over your right shoulder. And keep flowing, breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. Keep flowing. And last one. Good, and then come back to a neutral position, straighten both legs, and walk your feet or heel toe them back to a hip distance apart, so directly underneath your hips. Let's take a big breath in, bring your hands through to your heart center, and as you exhale, ground down into your feet. You're going to take another big breath in. As you exhale, press down to those feet a little bit more and just feel the weight leaning more into your toes. So just bring a little bit more weight into the toes and breathe in. And as you exhale, bring a little bit more weight into your heels. So pressing a bit more into the heels. And breathe in. Press a little more into your right foot. And breathe in. Press a little bit more into your left foot. Good, and then can you kind of draw a spiral with your center of gravity, so with the weight that you're feeling. And so you're kind of pressing into the left foot, then forward into the toes, and the right foot, back into the heels, and just circling and spiraling. And can you make that spiral smaller and smaller until you find a central point between those four corners of your feet. Keep breathing as you find that spiral. And try to find a balanced position in the middle. Just take 3 deep breaths in and out. Try to relax here. Good. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Just take a big breath in, extend your arms up, open them apart. And as you exhale, float them down, bend your knees and fold yourself all the way forward. Inhale into a halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And from here, we're going to bend the knees and drop our hips back onto our heels, come into a low squat. Then bring yourself down onto your sit bones. Scoot your hips towards your heels and slowly roll your spine down onto the floor. And once you're there, just take a moment to rest your back. Take a breath into your belly and into your chest. And exhale to soften. And we're just going to spend a couple of minutes in our Shavasana. But before we do, I want you to bring your knees into your chest, give them a gentle squeeze. Bring your legs out to a 90-degree angle, take your arms out beside you, and then drop your knees over towards your right side and look over towards your left arm. Take 3 gentle and deep breaths into your belly and into your chest. And as you exhale, try to soften. 2 more. Just noticing how your body's feeling and how that breath is moving through you once again. And then inhale your legs back to center. And drop them over to the other side, looking over towards your right arm. 3 breaths. What does it feel like to breathe into a twisted position? How does it feel different in your body to inhale and exhale when your body is twisted like this? Once you've taken that 3rd breath out, come back to a neutral position and just start by bringing your feet flat on the floor with your knees bent. Let your knees drop into one another. And just keep your arms open and find a nice flow to your breath. I genuinely just want you to focus on one thing as you lie here, at least for the start of our Shavasana, and that is the flow of the breath. It sounds really simple, but it's really important to find that rhythm of breath as it flows in and out. And if you want to count your breath, so for example, if you inhale for 4 seconds, and try to exhale for 4 seconds too. Let's take 10 more deep breaths in and out. And anytime you lose your focus on the breath, just reconnect with a mentality of understanding that that's totally normal and that it genuinely is okay. Give yourself a bit of empathy and understand that when your mind wanders, it's a natural process, and all we're doing is just taking our attention back to a space of focus. Understanding and accepting that we're going to drift. And our mind is going to wander. And that as soon as you become aware of that, all you need to do is gently bring yourself back. Two more breaths. If you want to stay here, then you can. Otherwise, start to wriggle your fingers and your toes. Just before you move your arms, let your head fall from side to side to massage into the neck to make sure everything feels all right in that space. And when you're ready, you can take a big breath in, reach your arms back, stretch your toes out. Hit some cupboards on your way to the stretch, or a chair in my case. And as you exhale, I want you to bring your knees onto your chest and curl your spine up into a ball before rolling over onto your left side. So use your arm as a pillow and take a breath in and out here. The left side is the yin side, which is associated with tuning into our mind and a sense of awareness with ourselves. So just tune inwards and check in with how you're feeling and what you're feeling right now. And keeping that quietened awareness, that still and relaxed awareness, just bring yourself up to a seated position at the top of your mat. And come to whatever seat is comfortable for you. And let's just take one hand onto our chest, one hand onto our belly. We're going to take 5 breaths here to close the class. And I really want you to feel your hands moving outwards as you breathe in. And feel them relaxing. Feel your shoulders relaxing as you breathe out. For these last few breaths, become aware of the heat in your hands. And imagine that warm energy is flowing into your hand, from your hands into your body. And that it's filling you with a sense of love and compassion for yourself. And a sense of understanding. Sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves is to just breathe and to find a flow again. That concludes the end of the class. I hope that you enjoyed that session, and sometimes we can feel a little bit vulnerable and we can still feel like we need a little bit more rest after a class where we connect to something like a sense of sadness or vulnerability inside of us. So if you need to take a pause, make yourself a cup of tea and relax, please just take the 5 minutes that you need to do that. And otherwise, I hope to see you again. Thank you for joining me today and for having the courage to turn up and do a class like this. Namaste.